much for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I'm your host, Martinique Brown. I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune into the show today. I'm so excited for our guest author, Sharain Hemingway, with her book, All for Love. So she's going to be talking to us about her book today. Sharain, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you so much. This is going to be a fun night. I'm excited. I've been waiting all day for this.
I'm excited. Also, can you tell the viewers just a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. So, of course, my name is Sharain Hemingway. I am the author of the future best-selling novel, All for Love. In addition to being a published author and a poet, I am a software engineer. And also a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I started writing at a very young age, kind of as a form of therapy to express myself. And then over time, I just kind of never put the pencil down. And then this project was just me pouring out my heart on 300 pages. I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Shout out to all of my family watching. I love you guys so much. And I'm excited to be here. Like, got to get the jitters out, and we're gonna have some fun.
Yes, we are. So when did you actually become interested in writing? Because I know you said when you were at a young age, but I remember when I was younger, I had to write, a story, and they also made us create the book ourselves. How was you not discouraged, from people be like, Sharain, that's not a good book,
Well, I was told that at a young age on a lot of my my artistic abilities. So I am a terrible drawer, but writing kind of came natural to me. When I was younger, I didn't travel a lot as a child, so I read a lot of books. Okay. And I was able to kind of see the world through the eyes of some of my favorite characters. And I just kind of picked up a pencil, started writing poetry to express myself. So I was the girl who would write the cute little poem to the boy because I was too afraid to walk up to him and tell him that I liked him. And then as I got older, those poems became, a lot more seriously to express my feelings. I took a chance, started writing, and realized how much I really did love writing. It got to the point to where I was writing all the time. I was staying up late writing. I was getting up early writing. I was sometimes late to work because I couldn't stop writing. And so I just kind of took a chance on myself and invested in myself. And I found a really amazing publishing company in Atlanta, Mind Matters Publishing. Love you guys if you're watching. And they just exceeded my expectations with this project.
That's excellent. And you said the name of your publishing company was Mind Matters?
Mind Matters Publishing, MYND Matters Publishing. I'll tag them in this video in a few. But yeah, so they're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and they're just amazing. I would ask for something and they would deliver it far beyond my expectations. So I'm so proud of this project.
I'm really glad that you mentioned them because I know that a lot of times people are looking for a really good publisher, somebody that's not going to scam them and do all these other things, so you guys, did you hear that? Mind Matters Publishing. So check them out if you're looking for a really good publishing company to represent your book.
Buy a copy of my book. All of their information is on the book. I can help you out. Awesome.
She's smart. She said, you got to buy that book. You find all the information right there. So what do you actually love about writing though? Because I really hate writing and I love doing videos. So my friend was like, oh, you should do a blog. I'm like, nope, I hate writing. What do you love about it?
So for me, I love to express. So I struggle with talking, and I mean, this interview will be fun to get through, but I stumble over my words when I'm trying to, express myself or get a thought across. Like, you ever been in an argument with someone, and then after the argument, you think of all of these really great things you could have said? I'm that person. But through writing, I can erase, start over, write as much as I can, and really get my emotions across. And so with this particular project, I was really just able to pour my heart out on the pages and just talk from a place where I normally wouldn't open up to someone face to face. I was able to really hide behind the cover of the book, so to speak, but really pour my heart out and express myself. So I think that's one of the things that makes me love writing. If there's a time where I can't express myself, I know that through my writing, I can get my thought across.
Definitely. So now, who is Keisha Hemingway?
Keisha Hemingway is my sister. Hey sister, that's my big sister.
She said, we love you. We love you, Sharain.
My family, they are ride or die supporters. No matter what I do, if I fall, if I fail, if I succeed, they're right there cheering me.
That's excellent. So now, All for Love is a fiction book, correct?
It is. So it is a fiction novel. It's loosely based on some of my personal experiences and the experiences of women that I have met over the years. And it's essentially kind of a thank you letter to the women who have inspired me over the years.
Okay. So now, can you further tell us about the characters of your book?
Yeah. So All for Love takes you on a journey through the eyes of 4 amazing women as they embark on this quest to kind of find their very own version of happily ever after. For some, that means finding love. For some, it means their passion or purpose. And for others, it simply just means finding themselves. So there's 4 women in the book. We have Candace, Brooklyn, Riley, and Michelle. They all meet in college. The book is based here in Charlotte, the city that I love. And they form this pure and beautiful friendship that blossoms into this amazing sisterhood. And I really wanted to kind of capture the essence of these childhood and younger friendships that have the ability to grow with you as you grow and continuously pour into you if you make the conscious decision to work at it. And so I think that's something that I've learned in my journey of growing up, to where, you know, friendships are a lot like dating. And I don't think we look at it that way. When we meet a friend, we don't look at it like I'm dating a friend. You don't see it that way. But I had to put it in kind of that dating box, because if you think about it, if you meet someone, I don't know, 10 years ago, you meet a guy, you guys have been dating for 10 years and a relationship never matures, you're not marrying that person. You're like, you're too childish. I don't think this is going to work. And I don't think we keep that standard with friendships. And so this book really does kind of capture that essence of, let's grow our friendship as we grow so that it can blossom into this beautiful thing.
So now we actually have Monica Bellamy and Brianna Watson. She said, hey girl, we love you too.
So Monica's the oldest sister. Keisha's after Monica. So my 2 older sisters are online. I love you guys. Brianna, I love you. I've been working with that girl for 20 years. She's awesome.
So, and Ashley Livingston, she is tuning in. Thank you, Ashley, for tuning in also. She said that is so true. So if you guys that's tuning in right now, make sure you go ahead and share this video. If you're just now tuning in, you're watching Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I'm your host, Martinique Brown, and we have author Sharain Hemingway, and she is telling us more about her book, All for Love. So now I know that they are college friends. Do we also get a better understanding of why they value these certain things as their happily ever after?
Yeah, so essentially what the kind of definition of happily ever after is finding what makes you happy. So there's some really strong key takeaways in the book. And so it shines light on things that I think are important. But essentially happily ever after just means what's happily ever after to you. Stop comparing what's going on in your life to what other people have going on, and just choose to be happy. I know we think a lot of times happy means you have to be married, or happy means you have to be rich. For some people, being rich isn't happily ever after. It's peace of mind. And so this book really does kind of take these women on a journey where they all start, and I don't want to spoil too much of the book, but you really all meet them in a place of almost loss. where on the outside they seem put together, they go to work, they're sharp, they're bosses, but then as you get to know them, you realize that they are, you know, perfectly imperfect. And so you love them, you hate them, you want to hug them, you want to fight them, but then at the end of the book, you have this new sense of respect for them.
That's good. So now I know that you mentioned that this is a novel. So with novels, because I'm still new to the author world. So with novels, that means that there is going to be a series of books about these 4 women. Is that how it works?
So I wrote the book in a way that it gives you a viewpoint from each of the women. So the book is broken down in chapters that are from the viewpoint of each individual character. And so I purposely would have a situation where one character will be having a really great time and the other character is in the same room and will be having a totally different experience. And so there are multiple books coming. I don't want to ruin too much of it, but it is a great book.
For us, Sharain, ruin it for us.
It's a great book to where the story really never ends. If you think about it, these women are always living. They're always experiencing things. They're always, you know, failing. They're always having success stories. Someone's always may get a broken heart. Someone may fall in love again. So it's just a continuous story. So the great thing about writing this type of story is the more I live and the more I interact with women's stories, the more I can write. And so this really is the best project. I've had so much fun writing it because I write it based on living. And so it just gives me a chance to kind of have a diary that I can present to you guys in the form of a great novel.
Yeah, definitely. It sounds so interesting. And I think that one of the cool things about it is it's about 4 women with 4 different personalities. So I feel that, you know, somebody that's reading the book, like, man, that is, I'm telling you, that is me right there.
So, you know, the one thing that I said when people ask me, you know, hey, which character do you see yourself with the most? I tell them, I mean, I truly believe that there's a little bit of Sharain in each and every one of the characters. I developed them in a way that kind of illustrates, you know, who Sharain was, who I am now, and who I'm aspiring to be. I think currently, if I can pick a character to relate to, it will probably be Brooklyn James. For all of you who haven't read the synopsis of the book, click the link, read it, and then buy it. I'll keep saying that. But I think I relate to Brooklyn the most because she's this career-driven, fearless, and well-traveled professional. She's probably been to more places than people have dreamed of. I think I've traveled a lot in the last year. And, you know, as you connect with her in the book, you see how she has to relive this major decision she made in the past. And it kind of forces her to check herself like, well, did I make the right decision back then? And if I made a different decision, would I be living my happily ever after instead of still searching for it? And I think for me, that's kind of where I'm at, where it's, you know, I have all these amazing things going on. I have this awesome project, and it would be nice to share it with someone. And so it does force you to kind of take a look back on all the decisions you made to say, was that the right decision? If I had done this or that, would I still be in a situation to where I would have some piece of my definition of happily ever after?
Definitely. So now you guys that's actually tuning into the show, do you all ever feel that way? Do you all ever look at your current situation and think back about, man, if I would have, you know, done X, Y, and Z differently, then maybe my life would be different. And I am actually, I don't have any kids and I'm not married. And, you know, there's many of times where
we have cookies in the back for new members.
Thank you. I appreciate. I like chocolate chip, and and so I think about that because I think about all my old boos, and I'm like, man, he would have been a great husband, you know. So it's kind of like you torture yourself doing that crap, you know. So, but what actually made you think of the plot this book?
So ultimately, All for Love is about the journey. I called it All for Love because there are four women. And, when you think of love, you automatically think of finding a soulmate. But honestly, I wanted to write a book that I would enjoy reading. And kind of during my writing process, I challenged myself to write something that I never read before. And, I would get 100 pages in, I would get 150 pages in, and I would say, okay, have you read this before? And if you've read this before, then how can you put a twist on it that makes it unique and digs deeper into those emotions? And so I built and developed these four phenomenal women, to where I made them feel like they were my best friends. I made them feel like they were my sisters or my colleagues or my role models. And I intentionally wrote them in a way that kind of puts you alongside them in these situations, to the point of where you said, as you go through the book, you'll feel like you're right there with them in them situations. And almost you'll put yourself in their shoes and think like, I don't know if I would have done anything differently. There's situations where if I asked you now, you'd be like, oh, I would do this. I would never, I could never. But if you hear the full story, you start to think like, that could happen to me. That's something that, I can't say I wouldn't if I was in her situation. And so I really did kind of take those hard scenarios and I twisted them even more to where it makes you think, I might forgive him. I don't know. Would I?
Yeah. So now, these four young ladies, they sound like a great unit. Do they have any type of jealousy amongst each other or anything like that?
I don't think it's jealousy. I think it's the well, when is it my turn? And I always use the metaphor of, we live in this world of the now. We desire things now, even if we haven't, attained it yet. And the best example is that if you've ever desired to buy a new car and you test drive the car and you do your research on the car, the second you get on the highway, what's the first thing you notice? You see that car everywhere, in every color. And I think that's the concept that we're exposed to today. And in the book, it's like, if I desire to have a baby, what's the one thing I see on my timeline all day? Everybody has a baby. Yeah. If I desire to get married, everybody and their mama has a boo. Everybody's engaged. Everybody's getting married. And so what I kind of harped on in the book is, it's okay to pose that question, when is it my turn? Just, stop comparing what other people have going on in their life to what you have going on in your life, and figure out what makes you happy and go after it. Don't be afraid to do it. I don't think there's any jealousy in the group. I think it's more of I'm happy for you, but I want that for me. And so you really do kind of get that internal battle with these characters of, I'm happy for my girl, I'm clapping on the outside, but on the inside, I'm just confused and torn and just, I'm like, I want it now. And when can I get it? And I don't, how can I get it? So, I think it's a great story.
Yeah, and that makes me think about my two friends that I have. So the one young lady, she has multiple kids, and the other young lady, she has multiple kids with her husband. And then the other young lady, and all three of us are friends. So the other young lady, her and her husband, struggled to have a child. And she, the one that struggled to have the child, she's always the type of person that is like, that is so good. Oh my gosh, you're pregnant. And so sometimes I just wondered how she felt internally, about, because she's a strong believer in Jesus Christ. And, I wonder if she ever had those moments where she's like, oh, all right, Jesus, such and such done had their 8th child. Like, when is it gonna be my turn? So I can understand that. And I'm not on that baby tip, like, when am I gonna have a child? I'm first on the Jesus, can you bless me with a boyfriend? Like, can we start there and then move up to a husband? you know? But it sounds like you are really like stable minded and have a strong foundation. Was it always like this for you in knowing what your happily ever after is, or did you had go through your ups and downs of wondering what did your happily ever after look like?
Ooh, child. That smile look good, doesn't it? But I think for me, I'm just at a place where my definition of happily ever after is a combination of things. It's falling in love and starting a family, of course, but at the same time, it's also living in my truth and protecting my peace. I had to learn the hard way to never again remove jewels from my crown to help someone else in my life shine. And I mean, I struggled with that for a long time because I was always rooting for everybody, but I had nothing left for me, and I was always pouring into people and had nothing left for me. Mm-hmm. And I just got to the point to where if my mental cup wasn't full, there's no way I can pour into others and truly be there for them. And so, for me, happily ever after is watering friendships that I find are helping me grow and pouring into me, removing those that are toxic, and then just ultimately just being the very best version of myself. And that's why I can be happy here. No matter if anything happens today, I still have peace and I still have my joy and I still can write. So I'm good.
That's good. That's good. So now what would you say to a viewer that is struggling with defining what their happily ever after looks like?
So for me, I mean, it kind of goes to my slogan of, activate your inner desires, which is kind of my new personal mantra that I live. And what that means is find your happiness and stop putting off things that make you happy. I think in order to find your happiness, you got to take away some of these things that are wearing you down. So if you want to write that book, write that book. If you want to take that dream vacation or ask someone out on a date, or just say no and choose to stay home, kind of figure out what those desires are, activate them, and don't make any apologies for it. Activate them and just live your whole best life. I started doing it, and I promise you, it makes your skin clear. You drink a lot more water. Like, you're just happy, and everybody just want to be happy.
This one lady asked me, she said, "It looks like you have a glow about you." I was like, "Oh, that's just the lotion I use."
Someone asked me, they said, "Oh, you have a man?" I said, "No, I just got rid of one. Y'all don't see it."
That's so funny. That's so funny. So, I know that we talked a lot about, people finding what their happily ever after is. Is there anything else that you would like readers to learn from reading your book, All for Love?
So, like I said, in addition to the nugget earlier in regards to kind of, when you see other things on your timeline to ignore it, I think one of the major key takeaways from All for Love, and I also like to tie in that friendship piece, is, because of social media, it's a great marketing tool, but I think it's also kind of allowed us to fall victim with allowing social media to replace real conversation with virtual interactions. And so in the book, I really do kind of shed light on a situation to where, you have these strong group of friends with all of these things going on. And, they looked up, and there had been months that went by where they never had a real conversation on the phone and never saw each other in person, even though they were constantly liking pictures and reposting, or sending the occasional funny meme that we all do, like, "Oh, girl, I thought of you. This is funny." Mm-hmm. They never really interact with each other. And I put a situation in to where one of their friends were truly hurting, but because it was always just a light moment or a send a funny meme, no one ever knew about it. And so I think that this book really does speak to the importance of checking on your friends and harboring your friends and making sure they're okay, because no one's going to post when they're sad, when everyone doesn't, but I'm not going to post, oh, this and this is happening in my life. Like, sometimes you really just need to call your friend and check on them.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that's one of the cool things about being an author, your ability to help people recognize different things within their own lives, that they can possibly change. And so, I mean, I think that that's a beautiful gift that you all have, just like, our movie producers and directors and things like that. So I know that you actually mentioned at the beginning of the show that you um, wrote poetry. Is there any other genres that you write as well?
So I actively, of course, write novels and poetry. I just launched my Activate Your Inner Desires blog on SharainHemingway.com. We'll put that in the link too as well. But Activate Your Inner Desires blog kind of gives you an up close and personal experience with my poetry. And I've also recently added a travel journal. And what that is a cool way to kind of capture all of these places that I get to visit. Last year, I got to go to Brazil 6 times.
Wow.
And so each time I was able to see pieces of Brazil that I didn't get to see before. And so I created this blog as a cool way for me to just challenge myself to write in description, but also to just tell stories and take people on a journey who may never get the chance to visit some of these places that I've been to.
Okay. So now, do you actually go to poetry nights and read your poetry there and stuff?
Not lately. I have in the past. I still actively YouTube spoken words, but no, not recently. I haven't. I've kind of been engulfed in this book. It took me a year to write All for Love, and so that's really where my head and my mind has been. But what I will say is that I did put some original pieces in the book, so you guys are in for a treat. You have some original Sharain pieces in All for Love.
Oh, that's excellent. So now we have author Sean Sinclair. He said, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And Brianna Watson says she can write songs and raps and plays piano. She's just a creative monster. She put it all out there. She said, you know what? This interview about to be over. Let me go ahead and tell y'all what everything she does.
Okay. So I'll speak. Come on, breathe. Really? That's what we do. I love you though. So yes, there was a time in my past where, in addition to poetry, I put a beat to my poems and I called it rap. That's the best I can tell you there. But as far as the piano go, yes, I taught myself to play the piano. I think 3 years ago, I brought the little toy plastic piano and was playing hot cross buns with 2 fingers. And then I actually fell in love with it, learning how to play chords. And so now I have a full-size keyboard, and I, serenade my fans on Facebook, whether they like it or not, and give them a mini concert.
So cute. So now you guys, I know that Sharain has talked about, more books that's to come, and you don't want to miss her playing the piano for you all. So make sure that you follow and like her Facebook page. Like I said before, if you're interested in purchasing her book, All for Love, it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and the link is in the description box. And make sure you also follow her on Instagram. Go to her website so you can check out everything that she is about, and make sure you follow and like her Facebook page. So now I know that you did touch on your Facebook page, Activate Your Inner Desire. What does that name represent for you and your brand?
So for me, like I said, it means just activating whatever those things that you've been putting up, your desires. For me, it was taking a chance and writing this book. Like I said, I've been writing my entire life. I never published. I never even thought of publishing. And I really did. I just took a chance on myself. And this has been the most amazing journey, the support. And people have literally said, I don't know what this is about, but I'm buying it because I'm supporting you because you're attached to it. And so just that outpouring of support has really reinforced the reason why I activated those desires, the reason why I took a chance. I had a really great, steady corporate job, and I was like, I want to do something different. I want to jump out on faith and try something different. I quit, and now I have an opportunity as a software engineer that I never even dreamed of. And so I think that we get into this bubble to where we're so afraid to fail that we never even set ourselves up to succeed. And that's what that mantra means. Activate those inner desires. You can tell people things all day long, but what's really inside of you that you're hiding, that you're afraid to say, I really want to do that. Like, I really want to try surfing. I'm afraid to, but I really say it. Do it. Go for it. I won't go with you, but I'll watch you on the sand. I'll record you. Right? I support you.
I know. I'll go with them the day before I go get my dreads retwisted. So
see, I support. You know, I'm all for support.
Yeah. So how did you build that confidence in creating and releasing something for the world to critique?
It's still building. But no. You know, I think it's more of my family and my friends, you know, the people that's pinging me right now, and especially Brianna with that rap story, that's funny. But no, I think it's like my family and my friends, to where, honestly, I can't think of a time where I wanted to do something and someone has said, no, you can't do it. Now, there have been times where they were like, you sure? But no one has ever taught me out of it. And those who have taught me out of it, I just made a decision to remove them out of my life. And so where I am now, it's, you know, why not? You know, just like publishing a book, you know, it costs too much to publish a book. Well, if you think about it, in a year, how much money you spend doing things that you probably shouldn't be doing. Save that money, invest in yourself, and then the return, I say, let your money work for you. You work for your money when you're young, so your money can work for you when you're old. And that's just a decision that I made, to say, I want to invest in myself because I see myself on this major platform. I see myself building an empire, and I see myself building generational wealth. And in order to do that, you got to have that confidence, and you got to be able to stand in a room where people look at you like, she's too young, she's too black, she's too unique, she's too crazy, she's too wild. And then you still stand in front of them and say, yes, I'm all of that things. And my name is Sharain. How are you?
Definitely. Come on, Sharain, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Don't you just love her confidence, y'all? But let me ask you something. So now, with all of the books out there, you know, talking about love and how to find our happiness and things like that, why should we add your book to our collection?
So in addition to the name Sharain Hemingway, I think that All for Love really does speak to some of these things that we may be afraid to say aloud. You know, there are a few stories in here that were personal to me, to where I questioned, am I a good friend to this person? Where you've been friends with someone for years and years at a time, and then over time you have to step back and say, am I still a good friend to this person? Like, am I giving this person what this person is giving to me? And I haven't read any books that speaks to that, as well as a book that really does break down these dynamic relationships between a spouse, between a friend, between a mother and a daughter. Like I said, I really did dig deep into the emotions of these characters, to the point that I feel like I can talk about them like they're standing here, because I spent so much time with these ladies. I cried as I wrote some stories. I laughed and got angry as I wrote other stories. And so I'm really passionate about this book. I think it will really put you in a place to where you have to step back and question, am I doing right by the people in my life today? And then am I doing right by myself? And I haven't read that book yet. I've read a lot of books, and so I think that's what make All for Love stands apart from some of the other novels that I've read.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So, how do you recommend finding that balance with, having those great relationships with others, but
Mhm.
still making time for yourself? How do you recommend finding that type of balance?
Be comfortable with saying no to some things. There was a point in my life to where I was everywhere all the time at everything and would come home and have nothing for me. Those are the times where I couldn't write because I was always so tired. And like I said, I just made a decision to say if someone's truly my friend, they'll be there if I say no. And I think you have to be okay with saying no sometimes. And if you think about it, there are friends that say no to you. You just don't. You're just that friend that say yes. And so if you think about the times you've asked certain people to hang out and they be like, oh, I have things going on, but when they ask you, you're always available. You're probably that friend that's pouring too much into the friendship. And so
Mhm.
sometimes you do have to step back and take a reality check and say, well, let me give me time so that I can be a better friend to this person and not resent this person in the long run.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. So, guys, I just thank you all for taking time to watch another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. Sharain, you did excellent, girl. You did so good. Thank you for being on the show.
It's actually so much fun. I almost don't want to leave. I'm a little sad.
Okay, so you guys, you tune in to the After Hours with Sharain Hemingway, All for Love. If you are interested in purchasing her book, All for Love, make sure you visit the description box because the links are listed in the description box. It says purchase Sharain's books, and then it has the different links. Sharain, again, thank you so much for being on the show and letting us know more about your book, All for Love. And you all have a great night. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.